All right, guys, I am recording, okay? This lesson 13, is a times 4. Am I correct? And there is no other lesson between 1 and 14 that is that big, okay? 1 and 14 are the lessons that are on the midterm. So this is the most important lesson on the midterm that's going to be on the midterm. Please make sure you make yourself pay attention, okay? If you start feeling sleepy, stand up and go get a drink, okay? Just let me know what's going on. But please just stick right with me, okay? Okay, by the way, on the quiz, I don't think that you're going to say the quiz is easy. I'm feeling that way. And I don't know. I start to lose perception a little bit because I've been working on it so much. I think you're going to want to spend all those 3 hours getting ready, okay? Don't freak out. It's just a quiz. So the midterm's 8 times more important than your quiz. But still, it's going to affect your grade. Okay, here we go. First rule. The nth root of x is x to the 1 over n. Okay, here's an example. Okay, the square root of b. If they want you to write it with a fractional exponent, guys, here's what you do. You write your b. And the b is going to have an exponent that's a fraction. Do you see this little number right there? Do you see how it's a square root? That's going to go on the bottom of your fraction. And do you see on the inside how that's a b, which is the same thing as b to the first? That inside exponent goes at the top. So that's a b to the 1/2, okay, is what that's equal to. Okay, look at question 2. If they're together inside a root, you can separate them. Or if they're separate, you can pull them together. Okay, let me give you an example. The square root of 2 multiplied by the square root of 8. Now everybody just freeze and let's talk about that. If I grab my calculator and put in the square root of 2, I'd get a decimal. Same thing for the 8. So those aren't nice. Together, they're not good. But if I just pull them together, it's going to be the square root of what, everybody? 16. And what's the square root of 16? 4. So if they're separate, you can pull them together. If it's together, you can separate it. You can go back and forth to try to simplify it, okay? Okay, this one right here, same thing with division. If they're together and it's not working out, you can separate them. Or if they're separate and it's not working out, you can pull them together, okay? Here's an example. Look at this. The square root of 25 over 16. Well, 25 and 16 don't reduce. So together, it doesn't work out. But if I write them separately, that's the square root of 25 over the square root of 16. Everybody tell me, what's the square root of 25? 5. And the square root of 16 is 4. So together it was bad, but then I separated it, and it was good. Who says I'm with you? I'm good with this. Okay, great. Look at this next one. So this rule, this thing right here, is just like a teeny bit tricky, okay? So that right there, maybe just say that's a little bit tricky. I don't want you to worry about it for a while. It doesn't even come up until probably like halfway down the lesson, okay? So this part right here, that's easy to understand. If you have the nth root of x to the m, that's the same thing as x to the m over n. Let me give you an example, okay? So let's come over here and let's go cube root of x squared. Well, it's basically the same rule as what we had up above. You're going to have an x. The exponent is going to be a fraction. The bottom number of your fraction is that little number that's right there, which is a 3. Can anybody tell me the top number of my fraction? It's going to be a 2 because it's a squared in there. Okay, so the part that I said was tricky was this. Write this down underneath it if you would. The cube root of x to the second is the same exact thing as the cube root of x, and then in parentheses, the whole thing raised to the second. So the second can come in, or the second can also come out, okay? Don't worry about it yet. We'll get there when we need to worry about it, okay? Okay, let's go ahead with question A, 1A. Everybody in the room, just shout these out. I'm going to try to keep a nice pace. but not too fast. So if I'm going too fast, let me know. What's the square root of 64? 8. Done. Okay. If you don't know that in your head, you can hit second, x squared, 8, hit enter, and you got it. Okay. Cube root of 64. So this is a number when multiplied by itself 3 times gives you 64. Do you know what that is? 4. It is 4. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64. So everybody write down the 4 and we're done. Now, what if you didn't know that? Like, what if that wasn't in your head, right? Let's do it. Grab your calculator. Here's how you put in the cube root of 64, okay? Everybody hit 3. And then hit second. And then go down 4 buttons to this power button or this caret button right there. And then put in 64, hit enter, and there's your 4. So you can get it on your calculator if you don't know it, okay? Question C. This is kind of important, guys. Look, does question C have an I in the answer? It does not have an I. Why no I? Because it's what? Why does that not have an I? It's an odd root. When you have an I is when you have an even root. So remember this little trick I told you guys. Look, if you have an odd root and a negative, what's the first thing I want you to do? Do you remember? Take out the negative. Thank you for remembering. So it's a negative times the cube root of 64. Well, now we know the cube root of 64 is 4 from that previous problem. The answer is going to be negative 4 because of that negative sitting right out in front. That's it. That's all you have to do. Talk to me about the square root of negative 64. What's that, everybody? That is an I, right? That is an 8i is what that thing's equal to. Now, we have not talked about imaginaries. So you're not going to answer an imaginary. If this were on the midterm, I think I would say 8i, and then I would put a comma, and I would say no. I think I would say not real. I was going to say no real solution, but we're not really solving. We're simplifying, so that wouldn't make sense. So it's not real. That's all you have to do. Okay? Okay, question E. Together, separate, they're bad. Square root of 8 is a decimal, square root of 2 is a decimal. Pull them together. 8 times 2 is 16. Square root of 16 is 4. So just move things around. Okay? 9 over 25. 9 over 25 does not reduce. Together, they're bad. But if I separate them, guys, that's the square root of 9 over the square root of 25. Square root of 9 is a 3. Square root of 25 is a 5. That's it. Now, I want to say something right here. So I've had a couple of people making some mistakes. That's your answer and you're done. Look what I have people doing. I have them going, well, I've got a square root, so I'm going to have to do the plus or minus. So the answer is plus or minus. That is false. Here's why it's false. So listen to this so you understand, okay? If you have this problem, x squared equals, how do I solve it? Take the square root. I'm doing the square root. So if I'm doing the square root, it's plus or minus. The square root was already there. There was no plus or minus in front of it. So if I didn't do it, and it's already there, and there's no plus or minus, don't add it. You only put it when you do it. Who says I understand the difference? Okay, wonderful. Okay, question G. This is a review from last time. So write your 75 down and break it down. So 75 is 3 times 25. 25 is 5 times 5. These two 5s come out as a single 5. So I have negative 5, and then I'm going to leave some room, and inside I still have a 3. Now let's deal with the x's. 2 goes into 3 one time. Do I have leftovers, yes or no? How many? 1 leftover. There's my answer. Done. Good. Okay, question H. Together, separate, they're bad, right? So let's just pull them together, right? So let's go cube root of negative 12 times a positive 2 is a negative 24. On the A's, you have 4 and 2. Is that a total of 6, guys, or is that a total of 8? Do you add them or do you multiply them? Come on. You add them and get a 6. When do you multiply? This is when you multiply. Look right there. That's a to the 8th. If it's a to the 4th times a to the 2nd, that's a to the 6th. You should write that down if you didn't know it was supposed to be 6th, okay? Okay, now let's do our B's. So B's, I have 2 and 3 for a total of, everybody talk to me. 5. Okay, am I done? No. What's the first thing I should do right now? Quick and easy. Pull out the negative. So let's take out that negative, pull it right there. Easy. Now let's take your 24 and break it down. So 24 is 2 times 12. 12 is 2 times 6. 6 is 2 times 3. Guys, this is a cubed root. So see those 3 2's come out as a single 2. And then I have a cubed root of what number is inside? A 3. Good. Now look at your A's. 3 goes into 6 exactly 2 times, no leftover A's. Look at the B's. 3 goes into 5 1 time. Exactly? Yes or no? How many leftovers, guys? 2. So that's a B squared. That's my answer. Done. Who says this is easy? This is easy. Okay, yay. When we get to a problem that's highlighted because it's on the midterm, tell me. Have we done one already? No. Okay, good. Because I just want to like emphasize it and make sure we're totally good. Okay. Question I. Everybody freeze right here and look at question I. Question I looks different. Look at the 6 problems that we just did. 8 problems. Look what they have. And look what I doesn't have. What is it? The square root. What is the word radical? Everybody write down the word radical. What does that mean? Radical. When it says write it in radical form, what does that mean?
When there's like a square root on the
Yeah, just a root. Write it with a root. A radical is a root. I didn't say square root because it could be cube root or 4th root or 5th root or whatever. It's called radical. Okay, so that's what it's missing. So look what you do. You make your radical. Everybody in the room, tell me the little number that goes right here.
3.
A 3. And inside you have an 8. Now the 8 is raised to the first. Does raising something to the first change it? No, so I don't have to write it. And then what's the cube root of 8? 2. Done with the problem. That's all you have to do. Okay, look at J. Everybody freeze, I want to ask you a question. When you're doing a math problem, is there only one possible way to do the problem? Yes or no? No, there's tons of ways, okay? Look right here and just watch. I could do this, the square root of 12x to the 8th over the square root of 3x to the 3rd, multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3x to the 3rd to rationalize it. It's totally fine. I would not do that. I would not do that. There's something easier, I think is easier. What would you do? What's another thing we could do? You can reduce. Yeah, look right here. What's 12 over 3? A 4. If you have 8 x's on the top and 3 x's on the bottom, where do you have more, guys? Top or bottom? Bottom. How many more? 5 more. Way easier than the other thing I was doing, right? You'd still get the same answer. Is that answer done? No. What's the square root of 4? 2. And then 2 goes into 5 2 times, but not exactly. I have a remainder of 1. That's my answer. I promise you, if we would have done it the other way that I started, it would literally take us 5 times longer to do the problem. So you want to try to find the easiest route. I would have got the same answer though. Okay, question K. First thing we have to do is write it as a radical. So everybody go the 4th root of 16, a to the 8th, b to the 16. Take down your 16 and break it down. So it's 2 times 8, 8 is 2 times 4, 4 is 2 times 2. So all of those 2's come out. Another thing you could do is just punch in your calculator the 4th root of 16 and you get a 2. Okay, either way. Look at the A's. So I don't have anything inside right now. Look at the A's. 4 goes into 8 twice. Look at the B's. 4 goes into 16 4 times. There's nothing left inside, so I don't have to write the root anymore. That's my answer. Yes.
So you divide the exponents by the like what the root
The
is?
root. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, question L. Starting to look a little ugly, right? Fractions and signs. Look right here. B to the second raised to the third. Is that B to the fifth or is it B to the sixth? Everybody tell me. B to the sixth. So you multiply, right? So what I'm doing is I'm taking a negative 1/3 and I'm multiplying it by a negative 2/3. We're going to do this in a couple of different ways. You guys ready? A negative times a negative is a positive. I know that for sure. The top numbers get multiplied together. 1 times 2 is 2. On the bottom, 3 times 3 is 9. So that's B to the 2/9. Okay, freeze right there. Everybody in the room, grab your calculator. I'm going to show you how to multiply fractions on your calculator. Okay, let's do it. Grab your calculator and do it with me. Everybody go 1 divide 3. Let's do negative. Clear it out. Let's do it negative. Just so you know what you're doing. Negative 1 divide 3 times negative 2 divide 3, enter. And then I want you to hit second, and then see this number, this button that's diagonal from the second, PRB, hit that, and then hit enter, and there's your 2 9s. Okay, so you can do it on your calculator if you need to, but we're not done because it's supposed to be in radical form. So make your root. Everybody in the room, tell me the little number that goes there.
9.
A 9. Inside you have a B to the second. I don't have enough B's to pull them out. I have to have 9 and I don't have 9. So that's my answer and I'm done.
M is highlighted.
Say it again.
M is highlighted.
Oh, thank you. I thought you said, and it's highlighted. I said, yes, it is. I just highlighted it. That was a nice comment. Okay, M is highlighted. Here we go. Make it a root. So it's a cube root. Inside, you have a 2x, but see that squared right there? You have to square it. It's wrong. I love that. Immediately she was like, you're wrong. You're tricking us. It's easy, but that's wrong. What did I do wrong? Why do I need parentheses? Because it goes to the whole thing. What are you talking about? It goes to the whole thing. What's it? The exponent goes to the x, which I did, but it also goes to the 2. So if you want to go straight to the answer, you can. Instead of putting a 2, I would put a what, everybody? Come on. I don't have anybody. I have like 2 people answering me. It's a 4. 2 squared is 4. That's your answer. That's an easy problem, but there's a pretty high risk of messing up on that number 2, so be careful, okay? Question N. This is hard to understand what I'm about to say, so listen. What do you notice immediately? Negative exponent, right? Now I'm going to ask you, is the negative on the top or the bottom? I am not asking this. I am not asking you on that guy, is the negative on the top or the bottom? You guys know that that and that and that are all the same thing. So I'm not talking about that top or bottom. I'm talking about the whole thing top or bottom. Who says, I understand what you just said, the difference between the two? Okay, sum. Is the negative on the top or the bottom? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Answer my question. I don't know if you understand unless you tell me. Is the negative on the top or bottom? Tell me. Oh boy. I still don't have people answering me. I think you don't understand. Look right here. If I had that problem and I asked you, is the negative on the top or the bottom? What do you say? It's on the top because it's over 1. So you'd pull the x squared down, it'd become a positive, and on top you have a 1. Who says, I understand that? Now let's go back to what we're doing over here. Didn't mean to scribble. That was funny. Now let's come over here. Same question. Is the negative on the top or the bottom? It's on the top. Move it down to the bottom. And now I have a 16 to the positive 3 second on the bottom. What goes on the top? A 1. Am I done? No. So this is 1 over. What do I put on the bottom? What's that word we just kind of learned? A radical. What's the little number that goes inside? A 2. If it's a 2, do I really have to write it? No. Inside I'm going to have a 16. Now I want you to freeze right here. I know it has to be raised to the third. Okay? Remember I told you there's a tricky rule and it's not going to show up for a while. It's here. Okay, so everybody freeze right here and let me tell you a little story. Pretty soon we're going to go through about 4 months of winter. And by the time it's over, we're going to be ready for it to be over. And so it's going to be March. And we will have endured so much cold. And then March, it's going to be like 60 degrees. And we're all going to be like, oh my gosh, it's so warm outside. It's amazing today. It's so beautiful. Don't you love it when that happens, right? So then when you get out of school that day, do you go home and you stay in your house? What do? What do you want to do at least? You want to go outside, okay? So I want you to write this down. If it's nice, go outside. I want you to remember that phrase. If it's nice, go outside. Right? That's easy to remember. Everybody likes to be outside when it's nice outside, right? Look at the square root of 16. Is that a nice number? It is. So guess where we're going? Outside. So this cubed is going to be here. Because watch how much easier it is. What's the square root of 16, everybody? 4. So it's just 1 over 4 to the third. 4 to the third is 64. There's my answer. 1 over 64. Okay, that'll come up again, so don't worry. Let's do it again. Let me know when I get to when this highlighted, okay? Okay, lots of different things I can do. I'm going to deal with the negative exponent first, I think. Now, answer this question. Is that negative exponent on the top or the bottom? It's on the bottom. So let's pull it up, and it's going to be x to the second, y to the sixth, raised to the 1/2. Okay? Now let's make our radical. Inside, you have an x to the second and a y to the sixth. Now let's simplify. 2 goes into 2 1 time. 2 goes into 6 3 times. That's my answer, and I'm done. Didn't mean to scribble. There were so many different ways I could have done that. I almost went a different way, but anyway. Who says I'm good? I get that. Okay, yay. Question P. Yikes. Lots of negatives, lots of fractions. It's not highlighted, is it? Okay, that's good news. Okay. Okay, in parentheses, put a -1, raise it to the -2/3. On the bottom, you don't have to do parentheses. I did start to do parentheses. I'm going to get rid of them. Write the 64, raise it to the -2/3. Now, I don't want those exponents to be negative, so I'm just going to flip-flop everything, okay? So on top, I have a 64 to the +2/3. On the bottom, I have a -1 to a +2/3. Okay? Is everybody with me? Says I'm good, okay? Okay, on the top, that is the cube root of 64. I know I have to square it. Is it a nice day? Is it nice? So where am I going? Outside. Okay, this guy, cube root of -1. Does anybody know what the cube root of -1 is? Grab your calculator. If this happens to you on homework or test or quiz, let's figure it out. How do you do cube root of -1? Everybody go 3. Second, go down 4 buttons to the power button, -1, hit enter. -1. That makes sense, guys. A -1 times a -1 times a -1 is -1. Should I put my exponent in or out? Out. It's nice, right? So that's going to be squared. What's the cube root of 64? 4, and that's squared. What's the cube root of -1? -1 in parentheses, squared. Why did I put the -1 in parentheses? The negative is squared, yes. 4 squared is 16, and -1 squared is a +1. That's my answer. That's it. Okay. If I think that these problems will be on the midterm, do you think they'll be on your quiz? Yes. Yeah. And when's your quiz? Next time. Okay. Here we go with question Q. What do you notice first? Some things really need to like jump at you. What do you notice? The negative. What negative are you talking about? In front of the 27 or in front of the 6? In front of the 6 is the negative I notice. Okay, so look what I'm going to do. Cube root of -27. I'm going to take the x to the -6 down and make it an x to the +6. Freeze right there. 30 seconds. Turn to your partner. That's wrong. Why? Talk to him. Everybody talk. That is wrong. Okay. Who's pretty sure they know why? Okay, go ahead, sweetie.
You need to do a cube root on the bottom.
Say it again.
You need to do a cube root on the
Yeah, the x to the -6 is in the root. So when you pull it down, it's still in the root. Good. I love how confident you are. I love it. Keep doing that. Always. Okay? Okay, now I see the negative in front of the 27. So now I'm going to take that negative, I'm going to get rid of it, and I'm going to pull it out in front. Okay? So now on the top I have a negative. Everybody in the room, tell me what is the cube root of 27? 3. On the bottom, what is the cube root of x to the 6th? X squared. That's your answer. Easy. Done. Okay, question R. What's the next highlighted one we have? S. Okay, I'm going to put a little thing right there. Okay, look at R. Stay right with me. When you're dividing like bases, what do you do to the exponents? Tell me. When I have p to the 2nd over p to the 3rd, what do I do to my 2 and my 3? Subtract them, right? So look at what I've got over here. I have to subtract those, but I can't subtract those right now. Somebody tell me why not. Why can't I subtract those? Common denominator. Fractions have to have a common denominator. Okay, let's do it. Everybody put a p over a p. If your denominators are 4 and 3, what's your common denominator going to be? 12. Multiply those together. So look at the top fraction, guys. You go 3 times 4 is 12, so 1 times 4 is 4. On the bottom, 4 times 3 is 12, so 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, we ordered pizza last night. Anybody else order pizza? Don't ever buy, I don't know if I should say this, I'm recording. Don't ever buy gluten-free pizza from Domino's. Is anyone eating it? It was so bad. Anyway, it was bad. I can't eat gluten, so I would not order that again. Sorry, Domino's. Okay. Look at the top. You have a pizza cut into 12 slices. The top guy has 4 of the 12 slices left. The bottom guy has 9 of the 12 slices left. Who has more pizza, top or bottom? The bottom. How many more slices of pizza does he have? 5. So it's p to the 5th. What is it going to be? 5 of the 12, right? What do I put on the top? A 1. Now, I'm not done. So one hard part about these problems, one difficult part, is you don't really know where to stop, right? But they're going to say write it in radical form. So everybody go like this. This is review from yesterday now. 1 over the 12th root of p to the 5th. Do not let this freak you out. We did it at the end of last time's lesson. I do not multiply top and bottom by the 12th root of p to the 5th and think that that gives me a p on the bottom, because it doesn't. On the bottom, I would have the 12th root of p to the 10th. That's not a p. So if I have 5 p's and I need how many p's, everybody? I need 12. How many am I missing? Come on. I have 5. I need 12. How much am I missing, guys? 7. So this is supposed to be a 12th root of p to the 7th. Now on the bottom, I have a 12th root of p to the 12th, which is a p. That's what I needed. So on the top, I have the 12th root of p to the 7th. That's my answer, and I'm done. We did almost that exact same thing last time. Don't let it freak you out. Okay, S is highlighted. Over on the side, I forgot to do this one of my classes. Write down simplified. Whoever's phone that is, I'm not mad. You have not done anything wrong. But turn your vibrator off, because that thing's going crazy. And it has been for a minute. Okay, so write simplified and then write radical, because you have to do both forms. Okay? Guys, look. M to the 2nd times m to the 5th. Do I add and get a 7, or do I multiply and get a 10? Tell me. Add and get a 7. Okay? So I have to add those exponents. But I cannot add them because, finish my sentence, I don't have a common denominator. So let's get one. Everybody put your m in your m. Everybody in the room tell me, what's your common denominator going to be? 15. Look at the first guy. 3 times 5 is 15. So 1 times 5 is 5. Look at the next one. 5 times 3 is 15. So 2 times 3 is 6. Now the denominator is still going to be a 15. Somebody tell me what number goes on top? 11. That's your simplified version. M to the 11/15. Now let's write it in radical form. That is the 15th root of m to the 11th. And you're done. I don't know if this is tough. I just think it's a lot. Who says I agree? I think I can do it. I just feel like my brain's going to pop out because you told me so many things. It's a long lesson, and I know, and I'm sorry. I have a lot I have to teach you guys. Okay? All right. Sometimes when I move around, it takes a second, there we go, to pick up. Okay, now we're going to write this in exponential form. Okay, didn't mean to cross. My machine's being a little weird. That would be something highlighted. Oh boy, it's not even doing anything. Okay, exponential form, easy. So now we're going to take a little different approach, and it's super easy. So this is going to be an A. The A needs to be written as a fraction, or the exponent is a fraction. Everybody in the room, tell me the bottom number. 5. Tell me the top number. 2. That's all you do. Look at question B. This is an M to the bottom numbers of 4. What's the top number? 2. The N is to the, tell me. 3 over 4. Yeah. On a 2-point question, that would be a -1. What's wrong? You can say it in one word. What's the word? What's wrong? Everybody in the room say reduce. Say that word. Reduce. What are we going to reduce? Come on. What are we reducing? Talk to me. The 2 over 4. Yes. So this is going to be m to the 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 4 2 times, n to the 3/4. That's my answer. Done. Okay. Question C. Question C is confusing. It's a little tough. Just try to stick with me. The A and the B are stuck together. You can tell they're stuck together because they're added. Look at question B. The M and the N were not stuck together. It's okay to simplify the M and then the N. On that one right there, it was just an A. But over here, they're stuck together. When you see that, I want you to see the cube root of x. It's one thing. It's not two things. It's just one thing. If you were supposed to simplify that, could you simplify that? Guys, do I have 3 of anything in there? No. So look what you do. Just put the a plus b in parentheses. What's the inside exponent of the a plus b? There's nothing there. So what is it?
1.
It's a 1 over, what's this? 3. Now it says write it so it doesn't contain parentheses. Don't worry about that, because on this one, it has to contain parentheses. So don't worry. Okay? Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that, because it's kind of a tough thing. Okay, look at this one right here. On the 2, put an exponent of 1, and on the z, put an exponent of 1. So you have a 2 to the 1 over, talk to me guys, 1 over 3. Then you have an x to the 2 over 3, and you have a y to the 3 over 3, and you have a z to the 1 over 3. And on a 4-point problem, that would be a -1. Yes.
On the y, could it just be y? You have to write it 3 and 3 without simplifying the 1.
That you just answered my question. So I said that would be a -1. What's wrong? And you must simplify it. Yes. So that would be a 2 to the 1/3, an x to the 2/3, a y, and a z to the 1/3. So if those reduce, you need to reduce those for sure. Okay. Yes, honey.
If you left the 1, just because you simplified
It's fine. If you put a 1 right here, it's totally fine. Yeah. Good question, honey. Was that one highlighted? No? Okay. Okay, let's do question D. Weber State loves to have you compare things and describe, okay? So I'm telling you, every time you get it, do it mathematically and then write a sentence. That's the safest way. Okay, so everybody look at the cube root of -125. Inside of there, I want you to write it as the cube root of -5 times -5 times -5. Because -5 times -5 times -5 is -125. And then here, make it a negative cube root of 5 times 5 times 5. And I really would write it like this when I did it on my test, just so I was clearly showing. So the cube root of -5 times -5 times -5 is -5. The other guy, there's a negative sitting out in front. Those 3 5s come out as a single 5. They're equal to each other, right? Let's do the other one. This guy, negative, square root of 25 is a 5. Look at the right-hand side. Somebody tell me what the square root of a -25 is. 5i. So those are not equal to each other, okay? Why? I'm going to say a negative inside of an even root is an I. That's why it doesn't work out. Okay, example 4. I want to just ask you a quick question. Raise your hand if you feel pretty good about this lesson so far. You're like, I think I'm okay. I think or better. Do a big raise. Let me see. It's on the quiz. That's why I think this quiz is a little tough, because of all this stuff. Okay, everybody write down A is 2, B is 4, C is 25. Let's see if this is true. So A is a 2, and I chose that because the square root is nice to work with, right? So this would be the square root of B, which is 4, plus the square root of C, which is a 25. Is that equal to the square root of B, which is 4, plus C, which is 25? The square root of 4 is a 2. The square root of 25 is a 7. Pardon me, square root of 25 is a 5. And then 25 plus 4 is 29. 5 plus 2 is 7. Is the square root of 29 equal to 7? No. So we're going to say it's not equal to. Is it true or false? It is false. So I just chose values, and then I tried to see if it worked out. Okay? Okay, question 5. Explain how to evaluate. Everybody draw a line. We're going to do mathematically on one side. We're going to do the sentence on the other. Okay? Okay, make your radical. Little numbers are 3. Inside is a negative 27. Is it nice? It is nice. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. The negative just comes out. So it is nice. I'm going to raise it to the 4th. You don't have to put those parentheses, but I think it looks nicer. The cube root of negative 27 is negative 3 in parentheses. A negative 3 to the 4th is a negative 3 times a negative 3 times a negative 3 times a negative 3, which is 81. So I evaluated it. Now I'm going to explain how to evaluate it. Okay, so I'm going to say, write the expression as a radical raised to the 4th. Then I'm going to write the cubed root of negative 27 is negative 3. And then I'm going to say a negative 3 to the 4th power is 81. Do you see how much easier it is to do it and then write what I did? So I can just follow through step by step what I do, what I do, what I do. Okay? Okay, look right here. Can the 10th root of B be added to the 9th root of B? Yes or no? That's like this. The square root of 2 added to the cube root of 2. Can I add those together? No. So can they? Well, it says, why can't they? And I'm just going to say, they are not like terms. That's like x plus y. So I can't add them together. They're not like terms. Okay? Okay, example 7. These are highlighted. The rest of the whole lesson is highlighted, right? I remember. Okay, here we go. Rationalize. Highlight the word rationalize. Draw an arrow to it. Write down, get rid of radical on the bottom. Get rid of the radical on the bottom. Okay, and then you're like, there's no radical. Well, there's going to be in 2 seconds. Okay, put your 2. Inside you have a 4th root. And then you have a 3. Now, if you're rationalizing, I want you to actually break that rule of if it's nice, go outside. So I know that's not nice. Actually, it's not breaking the rule. It goes right with my rule. Look, is the 4th root of 3 nice? Tell me. No, it's not like a 1 or 2 or 3, right? It's bad. It's a decimal. So if it's not nice, where do you go? Stay in the house. If it's pouring rain or like terrible, you stay inside. So that 3 is going to stay inside. Who says I understand? I'm with you. Okay. Here's what we did last time. I just did it about 10 minutes ago and now I'm doing it again. So watch. This is not that tough. I want the bottom to be a 3. I don't want any more radicals. If it's a 4th root, I need 4 3s. Does everybody understand? Yes? How many 3s am I missing? 1 more. So I have to multiply by the 4th root of 3. Because then on the bottom, I have the 4th root of 3 to the 4th, which is a 3. On the top, I have 2 times the 4th root of 3. Can I reduce my 3s? Talk to me about that. Yes or no? Come on, you better be. This was last time. No, why not? One's in, one's out. Everybody say that. One's in, one's out. One's in, one's out. Okay, let's do the next one. 3 over cube root of 4. Is the cube root of 4 nice? No. Not. Okay, everybody freeze right there. I heard yeses. I heard several yeses. Nice means when I put it in my calculator, am I going to get a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or something nice? Everybody push these in their calculator. You have to understand if it's nice or not nice. Everybody hit 3. Second, power button, 4, enter. I get 1.874, yada, yada, yada. Nice or not nice? Not nice. So if it's not nice, where do you go, guys? If it's not nice, you come in, right? So this is going to be squared. Right now, I have 2 4s. How many do I need? 3. So how many am I missing? 1 more. So now I have 3 4s on the inside on the bottom. So they're going to come out as a single 4. Inside I have a 3 and a cube root of 4. That's my answer. Done. Okay, I think we only have 1 more. It's easy. Is it possible to evaluate that in the real number system? Yes or no? What's the answer? No. The answer is no. Why not? It's an even root with a negative inside. Okay, so I'm going to say a negative inside of an even root is not real. It's what? It's imaginary. Good. Everybody good? Okay, take out a blank piece of paper for me. You can put your notes away, okay? Take out a blank paper, please.